Okay guys, as promised here, I'm doing a second video on how to install Koken. And if you haven't seen the first video, I will link that below the video here, or you can go check out the artofphotography.tv, which is the website. And anyway, that'll get you around to the first one, which is just an overview and an intro of what Koken is and kind of how to use it and how to do things in there, although it's just a very much an overview. In this video, I want to show you how to actually install Koken. If you are a developer, you probably aren't even watching this video because it really is easy. But if you are non-technical and you want to upload or install a version of Koken, I'm going to show you how to do that here. There's just a couple things you're going to need. Koken is not a hosted thing, so you are going to need web hosting. I usually recommend Bluehost to people. Again, I'll have a link in the show notes under the video. So anyway, Bluehost are great. It's just affordable hosting, and for a couple bucks a month, you have a website. So anyway, just click on the links below the video or whatever, and that'll get you over here. If you already have Bluehost or hosting, what you're going to need to do is set up a database. And I'm going to show you how to do that. So the two things you're going to need essentially are a copy of Koken. You downloaded the software, and I'm going to show you that. You go to koken.me, and over here where it says Get Koken Free, it'll take you to the bottom. It'll scroll down and download Koken 0.10 beta. And so that will download a file. I'm going to show you what to do with that in a second. And the second thing you're going to need to do is set up a MySQL database. A MySQL database, that's just the type of database it is, but the database is going to handle all of the text information about images, image names, image titles, website settings, all that stuff. So those are all stored in the database. So you will have to have a database to go with Koken. And what it does is it actually does a check and some stuff to see if you have all that set up. So I will show you more or less how to do this. If you're in Bluehost, what you're going to have to do is go to your control panel, log in up here at the top, and that's going to take you to your control panel. And then what you're going to want to do in here, I'm not going to need assistance. If you really are not sure of how to do this, or if it's just very confusing, whoever your web host is, whether it's Bluehost or anybody, call them and they will help you set this up. But essentially, you're going to need to go create a new database. And databases basically have logins, so they're not totally public. And so you're going to need to create a database, and you're going to need to create a user and password for that database. So write those down so you know where they are. And once you've created the database, then you can usually roll this pretty easily. So what we're actually going to do is I'm going to install this locally for the sake of time here. And I'm using an application called MAMP, M-A-M-P, which is basically a way to run a website off your Mac locally. And so let's go to the start page here, and I'm going to go over to phpMyAdmin, and we're going to create a new database here. This is just how I do it locally. Let's create a database locally. I'll call this Koken Demo, all one word, and I'll just keep the root password since I'm doing a local install. And so we're going to go back over here. Okay, so let's hide this window for a second. A minute ago, I downloaded this little zip file up here. So let's go ahead and double click, unzip that. This is the Koken installer, and it is one file called index.php. So what you're going to want to do is, if you use Bluehost or Media Temple or anybody like that, is via an FTP program, you're going to upload this file to the root of your website or wherever you want Koken to run. In my case here, I'm just going to run it locally, so I'm going to bring that over to this demo folder that I've set up. And so you would use an FTP client to do that if you were on a web server. And now I'm going to go to localhost/demo. Okay, so what happens is when you open that index file, which is open by default, or you go to your web page, it runs a little server test here, and it's going to tell you if you meet the requirements that you need to host Koken. And I have passed the install. If not, it tells me what I need. I love how easy this is. I put one file in here and it's doing all this for me. If you say begin installation, it's going to ask you to set up some stuff. So I'm going to go ahead and set this up as, let's see, first name is Ted Forbes, and my email address, and let's create a password here, and say next. And now it's going to ask me to set up the database. Now, if you're using Bluehost or something like that, your database, your host name is going to be the local host. So we're going to type localhost, all one word, all lowercase there. And then the username and, and then the database name. And I set that up a minute ago, and that was Koken Demo, K-O-K-E-N Demo. Now, when you set up a username and password for the database, they go here. And so I'm running mine locally, so we will put in my local options for that. Let's say next. And I'm going to pick a time zone, and it kind of figured out that I'm in GMT -6, which I am. And if you're not, you can use the drop down here and select where you are. Say next. Keep in touch. You want to sign up for their mailing list? Well, I already have because I really love it. And then you are ready to download and install. When I say install now, what it does is it goes out to the Koken server, and it's going to get you the latest version of Koken. This is so beautifully done. There's no changing permissions and fooling around. This is like really close to a one-click install like you would do as an option with WordPress. And so basically what it's doing is it's going to take a couple minutes. I thought it was going to take longer. Installation complete. Let's say start. I'm going to click that. And it takes you to the admin page. And you need to log in. And here we are. It defaults into the back end, the admin section of Koken. So if you look up at the top, you're going to see I'm running localhost here, but it's my demo folder. This would be like the URL of your website. So /admin is the default for the Koken admin. You can actually change that, which is kind of cool if you go under settings. But I have basically set up Koken. So if I want to test this and I want to go ahead and let's upload a couple images. So let's say demo images. I'm just going to grab this whole folder. Let's go over here, drag and drop. Whoops, I need to say upload, sorry. Now let's try it. Let's go ahead and drag up 5 images over. Let's say upload. Let's close that folder. And let's bring it back over here. Drag and drop videos here. Okay, 5 images are ready for upload. When complete, set their visibility to whatever. Let's just go ahead and start the upload. And it's going to work the magic, and Koken is totally working. That is how easy it is to install Koken. On the first install, you might want to upload some images to try it out, which I've just done. It worked just fine. The other thing you might want to do is mess around with changing your theme. At any time, if you want to view your site, you can use this View Site link over here. But I'm going to go over to the Site tab here. And if I go down there, at the bottom, it says Themes. I can select the theme, and here's where I can go through and select from the themes that are in here. You can also write your own themes to Koken, but these are the ones that it comes with. So I recommend starting there. Let's change it to Madison. Let's say use theme, and it also saves drafts, which is kind of cool. So it didn't ask me this time because I have not done any of this yet. Yeah, publish new theme. Yes, change it. Now when I view my website, and I actually haven't published any content here, it will do that. If you want to publish your first content, let's go back over to library. Look over on the side here under library where it says featured content. This is the content that is featured on the homepage. So I can simply drag and drop a few of these images onto featured content that I want to show. And now I'm good to go. So now when I view site, you are going to see it's going to load some images. So that's how you mess with featured content and start building your website. So that's basically it. If you have any concerns or questions or anything, you can head over to the Koken website, and they've got full documentation. Basically, it's pretty straightforward. Library deals with images. Text over here deals with essays, which is basically blogs, and pages. So if I want to set up my About page or my Contact page or something like that, I do it here, and you can publish those. And that, in a nutshell, is how you set up Koken. So download it. If you don't have any web hosting, like I said, Bluehost is a great place to start because I think it's just cheap and hassle-free, and I like their customer support too, and that helps if you don't know how to set up a database, that kind of thing. So anyway, that's basically the setup video, and hope you found it useful. So I'll see you guys in the next one we do. See ya.